Hey YouTube, this is Jen, your pudgy picker. Got another, I was going to say thrift store. It's not a thrift store. Number 47. I was at the auction this week. I'm going to say what I say every week, but I sound like a broken record. I didn't buy that much, but what I did got was pretty good. A few items went pretty high. Trying not to buy a lot of little, even if it's a little table or furniture, because I'm trying to clear some of that out. My storage area downstairs is getting pretty full because I put my eBay inventory down there as well. So it's a little bit bursting at the seams right now. So let me show you what I got. I'm kind of surprised I got this cute little terrarium. It was came up for auction and nobody was raising their hand. So I'm like, what the heck? So I got that for, I believe, $5. The top comes off, and there is, looks like an old cheese box with some fakey little flowers in there. So, not sure, probably just going to sell it like that. It is like that galvanized steel. It's not old or anything fancy, but it is very unique. Let me fix it. Yeah. Well, you know what? Hang on one second. There. I didn't want to bust it. Because you know I am one for busting things. It's kind of filthy, so give that a little elbow grease. That will do well. Probably put that for $25 in my antique booth. That should do very well. I actually purchased something for myself. I actually got these. These are light bulbs from First Energy, which is the electric company that we have locally. And what they do is now you should try this with your electrical company, is call them and ask if they have any giveaways or any light bulbs for you to try. And what they did, because I did this, so I've been seeing these lots at the auction and I usually get them. You get a whole bunch of different light bulbs and they are the high efficiency fluorescent ones. I think that one was just thrown in there. But they're all these bulbs, and if you price these out, these are not cheap. So there is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, including the halogen light bulbs. So 13 of these fluorescent ones, that is a good price, and they do last a long time. So that was a good price on that flat. You know me and colanders. This one's a really nice big one. This was actually sitting in there, so it came with it. It's just a little bowl with some fake African violets, but isn't that pretty? I always love the star pattern. It's got the little feet on it. That is a vintage one. I just love these things, and they sell for me at my antique booth. So, you know, and when people use these, you think of, you know, I'm sure you remember your grandma. I have a one that's white, the white enamelware that reminds me of my grandmother. Every time I use it, I think about her. So, yeah, you can drain a lot of stuff in there. So, that was a good price. This is really cool. I actually saw one of these a couple of weeks ago at the auction, and it went too high. I just thought it was really interesting. I told somebody, I said, this is good bathroom reading. It is a reprint of a Sears Roebuck catalog from 1902. So I thought, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So I looked in here, and I believe the date on this is 1969. So yeah, this is kind of vintage of an antique replica. Yeah. But if you look in here, it's got so many cool things. I mean, it's like hundreds of pages. I mean, everything from lights to, you know, toilets, to stuff for your carriage, to furniture. It is just really interesting. So I think I'm really going to look through this first. Look at these hats. Look at that. $3.40. Who doesn't want one of those? So I thought I would look through this really quick, give it some time, enjoy it a little bit, and then go ahead and see if I can maybe list this on eBay. Don't know how many there are, but if, oh, look at the old trunks and stuff. Really cool stuff. So I'm going to probably list this on eBay, or I will go ahead and put it in my antique booth, because that's just really interesting. And I got a good price on it too. I don't know if you remember a video from, I believe, last summer. These are Wild West Town Sheriff, and he's a statue, and if you can see by my hand, these are really big. And I bought one of these last year. It was not in the box. It's not old, anything crazy unique. I mean, it is a unique item, great man cave item. So I got 2 of these still in the box. It's funny, when I got the statue, I thought, oh, who does he look like? And I put Wyatt Earp on the tag and took it to my antique booth, and it sold. So I have 2 now, take them out one at a time. Not sure how much I'm going to put on them, but I got a good price, so should do well. Love this little wire metal, and the leaves and the flowers are metal as well. And this is for displaying a hat. I don't usually carry that many hats out at my antique booth, but I think I may hang on to this. I'll do a little research on it, but that would look really nice as a display piece, or if you did decide to sell it. So that's very cute. I've seen these at my antique booth before, or antique mall, and they are used as display pieces, so they always have the NFS not for sale on them. I don't think I've ever seen one for sale, but got a good price, couldn't pass it up. Now, this thing is either going to frighten you or you're going to think it's adorable. I don't know. I'm kind of at a toss-up. It is a Hippo bank. Here's the slot, and on the bottom it still has the plug. He is heavy. Isn't that interesting? I'll do a little research on him. I used to, when I was a kid, I loved hippos. Hippos were like my favorite thing. And if you're my age, I am 46. Yeah, 46. I had to think about it. I'm 46, and I used to watch a show when I was very little called, oh, now I gotta think of the name of it. Oh, you know what? You guys are gonna have to help me. It was a show, and people were like in these life-size costumes, and there was, oh, New Zoo Review. That's what it was called. And it had a hippo named Henrietta, and I believe it had an owl and a couple other animals, and then it had a couple human characters. And I loved Henrietta Hippo. If you don't know who she is, Google her. Look her up here on YouTube. But I was in love with Henrietta Hippo. I thought she was the most coolest thing in the world. And she was, the costume was not a real cartoon version of her. She did look like a hippo, but it was so neat. She always carried a scarf like this. She always had it in her hand. And oh, I just loved Henrietta Hippo. Anyway, if you're my age, I'm sure you will remember that show. And when I saw this, I was like, oh. But, you know, alas, I'm not going to keep her. I am going to send her on her way. But I will probably do some research on that. It does have a maker's mark on the bottom, so I'll do a little research. But this thing is heavy. She's got to be 3 or 4 pounds. And I'm sure if you fill that up with change, she probably weighs as much as a hippo. So we'll see how that goes. But let me show you my numbers. 47, that was my number this week. I spent a total of $40.80. Total bids were 34. 13% buyer's premium because I paid by a credit card, $4.42. The county tax was $2.38, which came to $40.80. Been spending a little more than that, but I did pretty good this time. I'm sure on maybe 1 or 2 of the items I'll definitely recoup plus some, and I'm going to keep these, so that's definitely a big savings there. Okay, everything was on tables except for the terrarium. The terrarium was only $5. Pretty cool, huh? I wrote down what the items were. The one choice on table was the light bulbs, $4 for all of those light bulbs. The next one was $3 on the same table, choice of table, was the 2 sheriffs and the colander with the fake plant. and they were $4 each, so that was $12 total. The metal hat rack was only $3. I could not pass that up. And then the last two items were on the same table was the Hippo bank and the catalog. They were $5 each. So not too bad. I think I did really good. Let me give you another hint. What I normally do is, as I'm bidding, if I win anything, what I do is I keep track on the back. Now, some cards that you get from an auction house will have lines so that it's easy to keep track of what you have paid. Now, if you're bidding on a lot of stuff, you really need to write it down, just so when you get up to where you need to pay, you don't have a heart attack when she tells you how much it is. Why am I not focusing? There we go. The other thing I do is there are 8 tables in the back that are arranged the same way every week, of course, with different items. So what I do is I go in order that the auctioneer does, and I number the tables 1 through 8. So what I do is I look over them pretty good when I first get there, of course. And then when I can tell that they're kind of winding up on stuff they have up at the front table, and I know that the auctioneer is going to come back and stand by the tables, then I go, before he does that, I go through and I jot down what I'm looking for, what I want to get off those tables. And then I will stand at a certain spot and wait until he comes around to that side. So the first table, there was tools and some other like vintagey items that were stuff that I don't resell. So I put no. Table 2 was the light bulbs. I put a question mark because it was one of those things that it was kind of for me, so it wasn't a big deal if I didn't get it. The third table had a flat just like this, and it had wallets in it. Some of them were a little bit beat up, but they were leather, but the price went a little too high, so I ended up not getting them, but I did put a question mark there. Fourth table, I got what I wanted. I got the sheriff's ×2 question mark, depending on how high it went, and the colander. Table 5, didn't see anything I wanted. Table 6, metal hat rack. I had something else, and then I said, nah, and scratched it off. Table 7 was the Hippo bank, and the last table I put no, because I didn't see anything on there either. So this is a good way to do it, because when you get to those back tables and things are going fast and furious, you're going to say, oh man, where was that? What table was that on again? And you don't want to miss something. So this is what I normally do each week, is I start on table 1 and I go to table 8. And I usually just go in, like I said, the order that the auctioneer goes, and jot this down. And then when I'm there, I didn't stand by table 1. I stood between tables 2 and 3. So I could do that one, then I could turn around and work on that one. And usually if I know what I want, and I don't even have to be standing right up against the tables, if I see what I want, and I'm pretty tall compared to a lot of people, so I just pick somebody short to stand behind. And if the auctioneer doesn't happen to be looking, just give a hey, or, you know, over here, or tap them on the shoulder. They don't want to miss your bid, so they will definitely pay attention to you if you do that. If you just put your card up and wave it around and he's not looking in your direction, you got to speak up. You have to pay attention and you have to speak up for yourself, otherwise you're going to get left in the dirt. So that's what I do. That's what I got. Not a bad week, number 47. Not sure how many auctions I'm going to be going to now that garage sale season is off and running. Each week I go to Auction Zip. Dennis Dempsey, the one who owns the auction house, is extremely good with getting his pictures up early. So it's a really nice way to kind of, you know, pull it up, dig through it, look at it. And then when you get there, you kind of know what you want. You can close up, inspect something. You can pick it up and look at all sides and, you know, eyeball the item to see how much you think you're willing to pay. So it's definitely a good way of doing it. Sometimes he doesn't always, you know, a lot of them they won't even put pictures up of stuff that's on the tables, because that's kind of small potatoes to them. But Dennis, Mr. Dempsey, always does that, and I appreciate that very much, because then it gives me a good idea of what I'm looking for. If you were looking for birdhouses this week, holy cow, there was literally probably 150 of them. So you can definitely tell when somebody no longer is keeping a collection or they're cleaning an estate out. But yeah, birdhouses were definitely the thing this week. So I hope you enjoyed my haul for this Thursday auction. Please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions or any comments on what I've purchased or what you think I should price it at, make that a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Continue to show my videos. I do appreciate that so very much. And until next time, get out there, thrift, garage sale, estate sale, anything you can get your grubby little hands on to resell. Keep all of your avenues open, no matter what time of year it is. And I will see you next time. Until then, happy picking. Bye.